What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel once again. It's Rios. Today I'll be discussing the 5 things that I did that made me go from a minimum wage job to over having 6 figures in the stock market. I'll be providing screenshots showing proof that I actually have 6 figures in the stock market. But before we get started, you guys can please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Please leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. It really helps the algorithm a lot. It really helps spread the word since it's a small channel. Please subscribe, like the video, leave your thoughts down below. Let's get right into it. The first thing that helped me scale my portfolio to 6 figures is having a budget. Having a budget is very important just because if you don't have a budget, you will never know how much money you could deploy to the stock market. And if you don't have enough money to deploy to the stock market, you'll never have money working for you. And if you don't have money working for you, you will always work for your money for the rest of your life just because you're always going after that money and that money is not working for you. Let's do a perfect example of how I did it. What was my budget when I was working minimum wage at a car wash, actually at Newport Lexus. So I used to earn approximately $1,000 a month because I was a part-time worker and I went minimum wage. So out of this $1,000, I used to deploy 40% of my income to the stock market, which left me with $600 just because 1,000 subtract 400 left me $600. So now this $600 I gave myself for spending money $400. So that leftover money, which was $200, this gave me money to take out my girlfriend out to 4 dates, basically $50 a week. So I had to expand these dates and make it cute or like lovey-dovey just because I didn't have money to take her out to a fancy dinner. And she understood that because I always told her like, hey, I'm investing in the stock market. Our dates are going to be crappy right now, but in the future, it'll pay off. So budgeting was a big reason why I scaled my portfolio to 6 figures in like 2 to 3 years, just because I won a little bit of money, but I was consistent with my budget and I always deployed 40% of my income. So now let's say if my budget was $2,000, which was basically last year, every month, I'll deploy 40% of my income still, which was, obviously if you know how to do math, it'll be like $800. So it's like you deploy $800. So I always deploy 40% of my income, no matter what, no matter how much money I win. So let's say if I get $10,000 in the future, I will always deploy 40% of it, which would be $4,000 a month. So having a budget is very key if you want to scale your portfolio to 6, 7, or 8 figures in the stock market. That was the first thing that made me scale my portfolio to 6 figures. Second thing I did that helped me scale my portfolio to over 6 figures is basically invest consistently every month. No matter how much money I made it a priority to invest 40% of my income. Like my first example, when I won $1,000 in my minimum wage job at Newport Lexus, I deployed $400 every month because that was 40% of my income. And then when I transferred jobs and went to Amazon, now my budget was $2,000. But just because I made more money didn't mean I was going to deploy less money. I was like, no, 40% of my income has to go to the stock market, which was $800. So now I was investing $800 every month. So I made it a priority to invest every month and make it consistently because in the long run, it will pay off. If you guys want to know how much money you will have if you invest $500 every month and get 20% rate of return in 20 years from now, go to compoundinterest.com. It asks you like quick questions. How much money are you going to invest? What's your rate of return? How many years? And then it gives you an idea of how much money you will have in 20 years if you invest that money and you get that rate of return. Come back in the comment section and drop that number down below. I'll be rooting for you guys. Please just check that website out. It's very helpful. It helped me out a lot. And when you invest consistently every month, make sure you have a realistic goal. Just because if you have a realistic goal, you'll work for it, you'll hit that goal, and then you'll want to get a better job because you want to invest more money because now you're seeing results. So now you're like, damn, I could become a millionaire in 5 years or 6 years. So now you're consistently working on yourself. You're doing self-improvement, but you made that a realistic goal. And now that's making you work harder. And now your goals are just higher and higher. And then you're going to go after those goals. So that was my second thing that helped me scale my portfolio to over 6 figures is basically invest consistently every month and make it a realistic goal. Let's go on to my third thing. Swing trading in 2020 was very successful for me personally just because I knew what companies tank so fast that will recover within the next couple of months. So swing trading was very successful for me personally, but I do not recommend this to you guys just because that's very risky and this is not financial advice. This is just me documenting my financial journey to you guys. So swing trading actually helped me a lot to reach 6 figures because 2020 was a very good year for me personally. I know for a lot of people it was a hard year, but for me it was a pretty good year just because I made a lot of money in the stock market and majority of my money because I swing traded the right companies at the right times. It was mainly luck. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you guys it was like, oh, I'm very smart. I'm not smart. I'm just a simple guy that I knew what companies tanked so fast and overreacted in March. And I knew these companies were great companies that will be covered in the next couple months once people realize like, hey, this is not too bad after all. These companies will still make a lot of money. So swing trading helped me out a lot to reach 6 figures in the stock market. And then after I made money in swing trading, I put it to my long-term investments. I'll post screenshots right here so you guys can know how much money I made in short-term gains. And then I'll put the ones that I have right now if I could take these gains home or just reinvest them into my long-term gains. But swing trading was another thing that helped me scale my portfolio to 6 figures. I do not recommend this because it's very high risk, high reward. But if you're new to the stock market, please don't swing trade. This is not financial advice. You know, stick to long-term investing. It pays off better and they tax you even better in long-term investments. So go the long-term way. Fourth thing that I did that helped me scale my portfolio to over 6 figures is basically the most important thing people cannot do once they start winning some money, because they blow up. They think they're like super rich and they don't want to do this no more. Basically what I did was live below my means. You know, I went for a minimum wage job part-time. I won crappy money, you know. I used to win like $500 every 2 weeks, which is completely trash. It's trash money. But then I got a better job, and then I quit that job, and then I went to Amazon. And Amazon, I worked a lot. You know, my paychecks were coming out to like $1,500 every 2 weeks. But no matter how much money I made, again, I made it a priority to invest majority of my money, and I always lived the same. I always lived below my means. I went to the same restaurants, no matter how much money I made. I took out my girlfriend to the same dates. Even if I had money to take her out to like fancy dates, I took her to the same dates just because I knew right now the priority is to invest as much money as possible. Just because we're young right now, this is the perfect time to invest. If you guys haven't opened a stock market account, please open it. Right now is the perfect time to invest because we're young and it's like a new generation coming up. You know, big tech is here, AI is the future and all that good stuff. So if you guys invest in the right companies, you'll make a lot of money in the long run. So living below your means is very important, just because you always have to live below your means, because even if you win a lot of money, you can't spend all that money. You have to invest majority of that money, just because you never know what's going to happen. You might win $100,000 in your job, but if you're spending $100,000 every year, you're technically broke. So it's like if you win $20,000, but you only spend $5,000 out of the year, you're living better than that person that lives $100,000 a year, just because you live below your means and that other person doesn't. So that was my fifth thing that helped me a lot scale my portfolio to 6 figures. Is basically live below your means. I encourage you guys to do that a lot because it really helps and you save a lot of money. Fifth and final thing that I did that helped me scale my portfolio to 6 figures. If you're still watching, you're so amazing, because not that many people watch the whole video. The attention span of these people nowadays is so small. So if you're still watching the video, thank you. Hit the like button. Leave your thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys. Fifth thing and final thing that I did that helped me scale my portfolio to 6 figures was create a realistic plan. And created a realistic plan. I was like, I could do this and I'm gonna do this, and I went ahead and executed everything that I wrote down. Writing down your goals might be very beneficial to some people, or just like imagine your goals and be like, I have to do this, I have to do this for the future. Do it for your family, do it for someone important for you, just because having a realistic plan will make you push for it because you know you could do it. So create a realistic plan, go ahead and execute that plan, and in the long run you will scale your portfolio to 6 figures if you do it the right way. Once again, this is not financial advice. This is just me documenting the ways I did it to scale my portfolio to 6 figures. It might work for you guys. If you guys found this video beneficial, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave your thoughts down below. And you know, just leave your thoughts down below.